I'd like to talk to you about pulling. It's a motion where you move your feet. There's two types of pulling. I'm just going to talk about the placement of the feet, and in particular going from a walking stance to an L stance, which is what pulling is. It's a longer stance to a shorter stance. And I'm going to use these pieces to demonstrate, I think, one of the big mistakes that happen out there. So first of all, this is going to be where my front foot is in the walking stance. My toes are touching it. That's where we're measuring the walking stance distance from. And that line is where we're measuring the other end of the walking stance. So it's toe to toe. So now if I am going to pull my stance, I'm going to end up in a shorter stance. It's still 1.5 shoulders long, but physically it's a little bit smaller. It's the L stance. So my back foot will pivot on the ball of the foot to come in, and it is now where my toes were. And my L stance, for the technique, it would have come back and then it goes back out again. If I go right back to where my walking stance foot was, you'll notice now that the measurement of 1.5 shoulders is in the wrong spot. I should have this foot here, but it's not going to go there, because when I pivot from the walking stance, I have to put it like that. So I'm going to do the technique just to show you. Forget the hands, it doesn't matter. I'm going to come back in, and now watch my foot. As I go back out, this foot pivots, ball of foot, it rotates to that position. So this is the key over here, it's this foot, because this one can't go anywhere, but this one gets a lot of movement. So we're going to go back to our walking stance, measuring the distance. These are just for reference of where my feet are. So as I shift and I come back out, and this foot turns, I should be measuring from the sword foot side to my toes here, which I am now. You'll notice that I'm not touching this green board with my front foot. So now I have a physically slightly smaller L stance. What the mistake is, a lot of people put their foot right back to there. This would be a fixed stance, a 50-50 weight distribution. Now, I'm just using these as examples. I don't know if this is exactly my walking stance and L stance position, because I just wanted to explain the back foot pivoting in creates a spot where my measurement should come from here, the outside. Which means if I put my foot back to where it was when I was in the walking stance, I now have too long of an L stance. So whatever your lengths are, everybody's going to be slightly different. Your measurements need to be done properly, which means you should finish your L stance slightly back from where the walking stance was. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody.